Chari Hawkins radiant, in her bikini on the beach. The true story of a woman who defied limits, overcame obstacles, and found freedom. She arrived like a ray of sunshine that illuminates both hearts and eyes. Yet her story is far more complex than the image of an athlete glowing in her bikini on the beach. Chari Hawkins is the woman who transcended everyone's expectations, who defied her own body, pain, and stereotypes to become an icon of resilience, grace, and strength. But before she shone in her most authentic form, on the track or across social media, her journey was marked by a series of internal and external battles that few could ever imagine. The beginning. From adolescence to overcoming pain. Chari Hawkins was born in a small town in the United States where expectations for women like her were minimal. From a young age, she showed a natural talent for sports, but she also faced obstacles of a magnitude that most people would never need to contend with. She was a different kind of girl, always a step ahead of her peers. But what no one knew was that behind the facade of an athletic and lively young woman, she hid a deep secret. A constant struggle with a body that didn't always respond the way she wanted it to. Hawkins's first great battle was with her body's own limits. During her teenage years, while her friends worried about the typical issues of adolescence, Chari was enduring silent torment. She was diagnosed with joint problems that often prevented her from training with the intensity her heart desired. The pain was constant, but she never gave up. Every workout was an internal war, and her resilience in the face of pain would become the foundation of her future greatness. But unlike many athletes who are defeated by their physical limitations, Hawkins saw this as fuel for her evolution. She refused to be defined by the pain, instead, choosing to be defined by the inner strength she began to cultivate, step by step, through intense mental and physical training. Her relationship with sports, with running, was no longer just a passion. It became a reflection of her ability to overcome impossible obstacles. The big leap. Challenges in track and field, and rising to the world of heptathlon. At the age of 19, Chari Hawkins decided to take the leap that would propel her into becoming one of the most promising athletes of her generation. She threw herself into the competition of heptathlon, an event in track and field that requires a combination of skills in 7 different disciplines, from the 100-meter hurdles to the javelin throw. But anyone who looked at her solely as a woman, with the perfect bikini body, didn't know the inner strength she possessed, forged through years of pain and perseverance. Slowly but surely, she earned her place in the track and field world, challenging the expectations of many who thought beauty and strength were incompatible. Hawkins was not an athlete who needed to hide her muscles, her curves, or her determination. On the contrary, she celebrated them. The biggest challenges, however, were still to come. Throughout her career, Chari faced devastating injuries, times when victory seemed out of reach, and the shadow of doubt stretched over her. But like a phoenix rising from the ashes, each setback propelled her even further. Her injuries became part of her transformation process. With every new scar, she felt stronger, more prepared to conquer the impossible. It was during one particularly tough time, after a serious injury that nearly ended her career, that Hawkins decided to reinvent herself. She understood that she needed to step outside the box of the traditional athlete and embrace her true essence, the complex, multidimensional woman who was so much more than her athletic performance. She allowed herself to explore her body in new ways without worrying about the need to be perfect or conform to a specific standard. The bikini image, the symbolism behind the appearance. It was then that Chari Hawkins began to appear on social media in a way no one expected. Confident, radiant, and yes, in a bikini. The image of Hawkins on the beach wasn't just a moment of leisure. It was a powerful affirmation of her right to exist in the world, with all her vulnerabilities, her scars, and her strength. That image wasn't just about a perfect body. It was about the story of a woman who overcame the challenges of life to become who she truly was, without fear of showing her imperfections. Chari Hawkins in a bikini on the beach became a symbol of empowerment. She challenged the idea that an athlete must hide her sensuality in order to be taken seriously in sports. On the contrary, she proved that a woman's strength need not be divorced from her femininity. By posing for the cameras on the beach in a bikini, she was celebrating her freedom. Freedom to be whoever she wanted to be, without restraints, without standards, without excuses. Transformation and inspiration. Chari Hawkins as a mentor. Over the years, Hawkins became more than just a successful athlete. She transformed into a mentor and advocate for women in all aspects of life. Chari joined various initiatives to support women's mental health and inclusion in sports. She created platforms to share her journey, her struggles, her victories, and her vision of a world where female strength is not measured solely by muscle, but by the courage to be authentic. In her speeches, Hawkins speaks openly about the difficulties she faced in balancing her public image with her personal well-being. She reveals that being a beacon of confidence and beauty was not an easy journey. For years, she felt the pressure to conform to unrealistic standards, but over time, she learned to accept herself and redefine those standards. Chari Hawkins' strength goes beyond the bikini. Chari Hawkins, radiant in her bikini on the beach, is just one image from a much larger chapter of her story. She is not only an elite athlete, nor just a woman comfortable in her own skin. She is a winner, a warrior who faced countless challenges, including a system that tried to limit her, and emerged victorious. Her journey is a celebration of human strength in all its forms, and the image of Chari on the beach represents the pinnacle of a long road of self-overcoming, achievement, and acceptance. Behind her beach image, her radiant smile, and her unwavering confidence, lies a woman who never allowed herself to be defined by her adversities. She turned her scars, her victories, and her defeats into fuel to create a life of fulfillment. Hawkins is not just an athlete. She is a symbol that true success comes when you are able to accept yourself completely and love yourself unconditionally. So when you see Chari Hawkins shining under the sun on the beach in her bikini with her contagious energy, remember, this is the image of a woman who is not afraid to be whole, complete, and above all, free.